Okay, we're recording the Mishna Yomis for special for TorahAnytime.com because something didn't work with the broadcast, so we will record it again. We're learning the Mishna Yomis in Idiyos in the final parak, the 8th parak. And by the way, if you want to sponsor the next Masechta, Avodah Zarah, you can do so, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. And if you would like to send money to support this share, you can do either with PayPal or Zelle to rmmwsi@aol.com, Rabbi Mashmeway, Staten Island, at aol.com. We are holding in the 8th parak, and we are holding Mishna Gimel. Mishna Gimel talks about a rather complex case of an almanas isa. Now we know that if a kohen marries a divorcee, then her child is a chala. If the kohen marries a suffix divorcee, let's say her first husband threw a get to her, we weren't sure if it was closer to her and she was divorced or not closer to her, and she's not divorced, and then he died, the husband died, so she's a suffix grusha, and a kohen marries her, the child is a suffix chala. If she was a divorcee, it would be a chala. If she wasn't a divorcee, then the child would be kosher. That's a suffix chala. Now here we have a family of Kahanim that had one child that was a suffix chala, but it got mixed up. They don't know which child it was. So one of the children was a suffix chala. So Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira said that if a woman married a child from that family, and then her husband died, she's an almanas isa. She's a widow of a child from a family that was a mixed dough, because there was one suffix chala in that family, but we're not sure if that's the one that she married. So we say that a kohen is allowed to marry her. Why? Because it's a svek. First of all, maybe she didn't marry the suffix chala. Maybe she married another son from the family. And even if she did marry the suffix chala, maybe he wasn't a chala, it's a suffix. So that's a svek. So hey, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, almanas isa, the widow from a family where there was a mixed dough, there was a question whether the child was the suffix chala or not, she could marry a kohen because it's a svek. Sha'isa kashera, because this family that was a mixed dough, it's kosher for would-be suitors, l'tamei or l'tar, to say that some shidduch is good for the family and some is not, because we don't prohibit the whole family because it's a sveka, l'rachek or l'kar. You could distance some and bring some close. Amar Gamliel, kibalnu eiduschem. So Rabbi Gamliel says, I accept your testimony. Aval ma nasa, what should I do? Shegaz Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai shaloi la'asher batei dinim. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said that a beis din should not be put together to deal with this issue. Why? Al kach, because the Kahanim would listen to you if you rule that such a family that has Isa, you should distance yourself, but avaloi l'karb, they wouldn't listen to take a chance to marry into such a family. Now Rabbi Yosi ben Yoezer, a man from Tzreida, is going to rule 3 permissive rulings. Hey, Rabbi Yosi ben Yoezer ish Tzreida al ayil kamtza dochan, that an ayil kamtza is a grasshopper. There's certain grasshoppers that are kosher, and certain grasshoppers that are not kosher. He said that the grasshopper known as the ayil is dochan, is kosher. V'almashke beis mitbechaya, and fluids in the slaughter area of the azara, where they rinsed the innards with water, and there was blood, the inundakin, that they're automatically assumed tar. Why? Because mashkin only are tamei midrabana, and there's no shvus b'mikdash, there's no rabbinical prohibition in the mikdash, and therefore those liquids are automatically tar. U'de yikrav b'misa mistav, and only one who touches for sure a corpse in Rishus Ram is tamei. But if it's a suffix, he's tar, because suffix tum Rishus Ram is tar. Now, the chiddush of that is, although we know we learned that out from Saita, the chiddush is the Rabbanan to the masses would say that if it's a suffix in the Rishus Ram, they should put it in the mikveh. Why? Because they didn't want there to be a laxity with Tumah. The correlate, and because he was so makel with three things, they called him Yosef Sharia, Yosef the permitter. I want to thank you for joining us and wish you a wonderful Moed.